Hey everybody, just wrapped up here, Bassmaster Elite Series on the St. Lawrence River. What an awesome place. 23rd place finish, which is not bad. You know, obviously last year I finished third here and I had really high hopes. To be honest with you, I was chomping at the bit to get back to this place because I knew all those places. I had a really good knowledge of all those places that I caught them last year. But one of the hardest things to do is catch them one year in a place and then come back that next year, especially on a river system, and catch fish in those same kind of places. It's almost impossible because a river system is just constantly changing. Even though these rocks that you catch them off of in this river don't move, those fish, smallmouth are notorious for moving anyway. And that's definitely, it was just different. I could tell the first day of practice when I got out there this year that it was going to be different. And it definitely was, you know. So I'm very thankful with a 23rd place finish. You know, those are the kind of, like Dave said on stage today, those are the kind of finishes that make up a good year and get you to the Classic, and we got some good AOY points out of it. So I had right at 20 pounds the first day, 19-15. I had 17-13 yesterday, and I had 19 even on the third day, which was today. So, you know, good bags, just never did catch those 5+ pounders that I caught last year. That was the difference. But let's talk about how I caught them. Basically the same setup as last year. When I started every morning, I would have 3 drop shots rigged up. I'd have a 3/8, I'd have a half, and I'd have a 5/8. And depending on the current and how deep I was fishing, that dictated which one I used. All 3 rods the same, all 3 setups the same. I'll go through that. And I was fishing from 25 to 45 feet deep. That's the target range, and I know that's a wide range, but the shoals that I fish, you know, and the drifts that I make, that's typically where I catch my biggest fish on this river. But anyway, this is the NEPS 81 MXF, same rod I use for tons of different things, but I'm telling you guys, this is the perfect drop shot rod. It's got enough tip that it lets those fish, when you're drifting and a fish grabs that bait, you need a rod that's got some give in the tip to let that fish really take the bait good. But then whenever it comes time to set the hook in 45 feet of water, you gotta have a little bit of backbone back here too. So it's definitely got that right amount of flex and power, and that's very important. I've got it built with the MHX wing grips. I built it with that arrow reel seat. That's the way I like it. I built it with a pretty short little handle, but I can be very accurate with it when I need to. It's very sensitive. You know, it's easy to tell the difference between a rock and a bite, which is very important here, to be honest with you. But like I said, a 1/2 ounce drop shot weight on this one. The size 4 Mustad Titan X Wacky Nico hook. Didn't lose a fish all week. That hurt me. Might have lost a few small ones, but I'm telling you, until I started using that hook right there, I had trouble with every other hook I ever tried up here with losing smallmouth. But I don't lose them on that hook. That hook is the deal. I use 10-pound Vicious high vis yellow braid tied to 8-pound Pro Elite fluorocarbon leaders. Some guys use 6-pound. If you're comfortable with that, you can definitely use 6-pound. I like 8-pound. It's just a little more forgiving, and I think I still get just as many bites as I do with 6-pound. That's basically the setup. And the bait, very important. Pretty much same bait as I used last year. This is the X-Zone Lures Slammer. This is the X-Zone Lures Slim Slammer. For those of you that don't know the difference, so the Slammer has a little bit wider head on it, looks a little bit more like a goby, and then the Slim Slammer I feel like is more like a minnow imitator. There's tons of different kinds of minnows and stuff in this river, and you know, I don't even know the names of all of them, but you know, I just swap up between the two. Some days it seems like they want the Slim Slammer, some days they want the Slammer, but that's color number 309. That's a real famous color on this river, and it looks basically exactly like a goby. Every once in a while you'll catch a goby out here and they look almost exactly like that. So definitely check that bait out. I mean, you bring that setup to the St. Lawrence River, you're gonna catch some smallmouth, I promise you. But I love this place. We got Cayuga, back-to-back tournaments. I'm headed straight over to Cayuga, and then 2 weeks after Cayuga, I'm fishing the Open on Oneida. So I'll be hanging out in New York for a while. I appreciate the support. Fun week. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you next week.